Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we're actually going to be doing kind of a blend of things. So there are many different dynamics and points of focus that have been coming up in the collective that I want to address through this video, which, by the way, is being released on the 1212 portal and actually recorded that day as well. I am doing the recording just shortly before I'll be releasing the video on YouTube, so it's essentially in real time. But the 1212 portal is incredibly powerful and holds a lot of significance. I'm hearing specifically when it comes to your manifestations, things that you've been really holding in your heart and desiring for a long time. So we're going to be getting into some messages around the 1212 portal that might be significant for you. But the first thing that I want to touch on is the concept of quantum entanglement. I actually did a video that some of you may have seen yesterday before it was privated. I ended up privating the video just because it felt a little out of alignment to have created this video discussing signs of quantum entanglement without really providing a strong basis and foundation for how quantum entanglement relates to twin flames, soulmates, soul connections, and that type of thing. Now, quantum entanglement is really just one way to conceptualize soul connections, our interconnectedness with each other. There are so many different ways to illustrate these ideas because at the end of the day, as so many of you know who have had these experiences with a twin flame, with a soulmate, with even a karmic relationship, some kind of soul contract, you really can only know what these connections are like through experiencing them. It's the feeling, it's the sensing, it's the inner knowing, and this whole kind of corresponding, unfolding journey that accompanies all of that, that is really how that information is downloaded. So anytime I am trying to find the words to describe these types of dynamics or even the illustrations to describe them, I know it's going to be a bit imperfect, but I really like this idea of quantum entanglement as one illustration of how energy that we send out to others, either spiritually on a soul level, an unconscious level, or at a more conscious level, how it affects others, and vice versa, how they are affected by us energetically. So we're going to talk a little bit about this. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if there's interest here, we can definitely dive deeper into this in future videos. So just let me know in the comments, which, by the way, I am doing another free tarot reading giveaway in the month of December that you can enter by leaving a comment underneath this video, because I will be selecting one random comment from all of the December public videos on the channel, and the winner will be announced on January 1st, 2025. The full rules and instructions for the tarot reading giveaway are in the description box, but essentially, again, all you have to do to enter is write a comment underneath the video. So it's entirely free to enter, and I really enjoyed doing this last month in November. Thank you to all of you who have been supporting it and participating, and I'm so thrilled to be doing it again in this month. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about quantum entanglement and how it relates to twin flames and soulmates, because so much of what we discuss on this channel is related to our soul relationships, those connections that we have with other souls that are almost indescribable, but again, something that you can feel and sense. So the thing about quantum entanglement is we are technically quantum entangled to every other soul by some degree, because as we talk about on this channel, we're all connected in with this web of consciousness. We are all connected to each other. We are a moving, living, breathing whole. We are a planetary consciousness at the broadest level. However, like I've talked about before on this channel, one way to think of our soul connections is to imagine that we have a soul frequency. We could also call this a soul signature or a soul fingerprint that is completely unique to us. But for our purposes, let's refer to it as a frequency, because in human terms, this is a great illustration, because we can think of a frequency as a certain tone. This will especially feel relevant to you if you are a musician. So you have a certain unique tone, and everyone else on the planet has a tone. And the tones that are most similar to you in frequency are those that you would consider to be part of your soul family. But again, we are all connected by degrees of separation. So you have a broader soul family. You could think of this almost like a soul tribe. These are people that, because they have on a soul level a similar frequency to yours, you tend to gravitate to one another. You tend to incarnate together through lifetimes. So often there are those past life connections that make these people feel familiar. Sometimes you're even born into the same family, although depending on your family soul contracts, that may not be the case. Some people are born into families where they actually are very different on a soul level from all of their family members. So it just depends on the terms of your unique soul contract. But your soul family are those that you do feel this instant familiarity with, almost as though you kind of know them without knowing them, or before you speak. And then when you speak to them, it's confirmed to you like, wow, I knew you would be that way. Now, part of this again is because you do tend to incarnate over and over again with people who are similar to you in soul frequency, people who are part of your soul family or your soulmate or group or soul group. There are so many labels that have been used to describe this, but they're all speaking to that same thing. However, a twin flame is someone who carries the exact same resonance as you. The exact same. So when we talk about quantum entanglement, of course, it's all how you define these terms, but you could say that we are all quantum entangled to some degree, just like we are all part of this collective whole and connected to each other by some degree of frequency separation. It's just that some people you're very distantly entangled to, and some you're very closely entangled to. And the amount that those quantum entanglements affect you consciously will differ in intensity depending on how entangled you are, or in these other terms, how similar your soul frequencies are. And that will correspond to the intensity and the type of signs that you experience. I should say you may experience some of the same signs, but the intensity will differ depending on how entangled you are with someone. So that is why if you are a twin flame, and I will be getting into more of this because there are so many levels and layers to this conversation, and I know we won't have the full conversation in this video. This may just be kind of a groundwork video for the concept. If you like this illustration and this idea and you'd like to keep fleshing this out in future videos and kind of building on it and sharing comments about it, then let me know. If not, then that's completely okay as well. This is just one way of illustrating our soul connections, but also the way that we are energetically related to others. And so when it comes to those that we are similar to on a level of frequency, on a core level, a core soul level, these quantum entanglements happen naturally. So I guess The word entanglements can be kind of confusing here because they're almost just quantum connections. They're not something we consciously entangle ourselves into or get ourselves out of. They are just there. And the thing about soul connections is they are eternal and they are unbreakable. So you can set boundaries with them in the physical. For example, you could be someone who met your twin flame, who is another physical human who carries a soul that is exactly the same frequency as yours, and therefore you exist in the same space in the quantum realm. So it's an entanglement to the highest degree at that point. It's just sameness. It's being in the exact same space on a quantum level, which means everything that you do, think, experience is directly mirrored in some way or experienced in some way by the other person, and vice versa. There is immediate and intense mirroring to the highest degree. You will experience all of these signs of quantum entanglement to the highest degree with a twin flame because you literally are the same frequency. You're existing in the same space in the quantum realm. Therefore, everything that you, again, do, think, experience, it's directly mirrored immediately in the energy field or the experience of your twin flame in some way, if you are someone who is on a twin flame journey, and vice versa. So this is an energy exchange sort of taking place. You are like the same energy being mirrored constantly. And so that is why with the twin flame, you experience all the signs of quantum entanglement to the highest degree because you literally exist in the same space in the quantum realm. It's hard to even refer to it as an entanglement. It's really just a quantum connection. With soulmates, you still experience the signs, the synchronicities, the connectedness, but to a lesser degree. So you can still find yourself mirroring naturally with soulmates, but it will be less intense than with a twin flame. It may not be as intense. It may not be as immediate. It may not happen all the time. The same thing with the shared dreams, shared visions, the synchronicities. Soulmates still occupy a similar space in the quantum realm. Again, you're not separated by that much. Your frequencies are very similar. And a key point is soulmate frequencies are very harmonious. These are people who, when it's almost like music that you make together, where you bring together tones of different frequencies that make harmony. That's how it is with soulmates. With twin flames, yes, twin flames can be harmonious depending on each person's level of healing. However, one thing twin flames always are is intense because they amplify. They are the same tone, they are the same frequency, so they amplify everything within each other. So these are, I guess we could differentiate by calling these quantum connections because you're not really actively entangling yourself into them or untangling yourself from them. You can't do that. They just simply are. Yes, you can set boundaries with them. If you're on a twin flame journey, for example, you can choose to set boundaries with your twin flame. You can choose not to physically have a relationship or communicate with a twin flame, with a soulmate. However, on a soul level, your souls still exist in that same space in the quantum realm. You'll most likely still experience a lot of those signs of, well, being quantum entangled, or in this case, just purely quantum connected to someone. So really, that last video that I posted and deleted, I should have titled Quantum Connections versus Quantum Entanglements if we wanted to really differentiate here, because twin flames and soulmates are these quantum connections that just exist. But in that video, when I was specifically referring to entanglements, these are I don't want to say artificial, but they're consciously or unconsciously created bonds in this lifetime. So essentially, when you entangle yourself with something consciously, you are feeding it energy, or it is feeding you energy and entangling itself with you. Now, this isn't always a negative thing. In fact, it can be really beautiful in our relationships. It's almost essential to our human relationships. Even if we're in a relationship with a twin flame or a soulmate where you have that natural quantum connection beneath the surface, it's a really beautiful thing to build upon that connection by further quantum entangling each other, in a sense where you are sending energy back and forth, you're thinking positively about each other, you're feeling a lot of emotion about each other, and you are, in essence, strengthening and building that bond between you through that increased quantum entanglement that gives you that feeling of depth and closeness that can actually be really mutually supportive within a harmonious soulmate connection or a twin flame connection. Now, the problem arises in quantum entanglements when there is a feeding of energy taking place that's causing us to feel entangled with someone in a way that is unwanted for us. So when we begin to feel as though we are feeling extremely drawn to or thinking a lot about someone or having these signs about someone that we don't actually have necessarily a soul connection with, but who is, for example, sending us a lot of energy, thinking of us really heavily, forming this kind of artificial quantum entanglement with us. And in these cases, we can actually still experience some of these signs. That is why you get situations where someone feels like a soulmate, but then they just vanish from your life and you're confused because you experience a lot of these signs that you're quantum entangled, but they end up just disappearing, and suddenly it's like that bond disappears along with them. So clearly you can realize at that point that they were never really a deeper soul connection, but it was because of, it's almost a form of energy manipulation, although the word manipulation has such a negative connotation. But what I really mean is just consciously utilizing energy in certain ways to form or deepen connections that wouldn't necessarily have existed otherwise. Because again, oftentimes these are in relationships where there isn't that underlying quantum connection, as we're calling it, that soulmate connection or that twin flame connection. This is also sometimes why people have the experience of a false twin flame. It's not the only reason that you have a false twin flame, but sometimes when you experience this feeling like someone is mirroring you, like you're having all these synchronicities, this can occur if someone is thinking of you so intensely and so heavily and strongly that they are entangling themselves with you and you're experiencing all these signs. The real way to tell the difference here is the way that it wears on you over time. So if it makes you feel chaotic, if it makes you feel drained, if it starts to derail you from your authentic self or your soul purpose in this life, all of those can be clear signs that somehow the energy is being artificially manipulated, but this isn't really a supportive twin flame or soulmate kind of connection beneath the surface, if that makes sense. So really, I guess the main difference, as we're saying here, is the difference between a quantum connection, those bonds that naturally exist in the quantum realm, really without effort, I would say. And you guys know how this is if you've had an experience with a soulmate, especially a high-level soulmate or a twin flame, and you've experienced some of the signs of being so quantum connected to them, then you know that it doesn't matter how much you speak to them, how much you think about them, how much you try to put them out of your mind, you still experience all of these signs and you still feel so connected to them. That's because of that underlying pure quantum connection. Whereas in other cases, when it comes to these quantum entanglements that are unwanted, you can feel very drained, very chaotic, almost like obsessive, but in a way that is actually feeling like it's leading you away from your most authentic self and your soul purpose and just causing you to feel very depleted and distracted. That's very often a sign that you're dealing with a situation where somehow you've become quantum entangled with a person that you don't necessarily have a deeper, more natural soul bond with. And that's why it's leaving you feeling so depleted and chaotic. Quite simply, whenever you have a pure soul connection with someone that's harmonious, you're going to know that that person is meant to be in your life, because the thought of them and the presence of them will bring you peace over time. It will support you over time. You will notice over time connecting with them that you are becoming more of yourself, your truest, most authentic self, that you are aligning more with your soul purpose on this planet. Those are very strong, clear indications that what you are interacting with, the person you're interacting with, is a true, deeper soul connection of some kind. So very often, the only way to really tell the difference is to really notice how the connection wears on you over time, how it affects you, how it affects the course of your life. So again, this is really just laying a foundation here. I hope this was helpful. I hope this cleared some things up that may have come up if you listened to the video that I had posted. But I now want to shift into actually talking about the 1212 portal. So the number 12 symbolizes completion, cycles, and divine order. It can also represent harmony between the physical and spiritual realms. And the number 3, which is, of course, the number 12, 1 and 2 added together, stands for creation, expression, and divine trinity. So the 1212 portal is often considered a gateway for aligning with higher consciousness and receiving divine guidance. So if you've noticed any breakthroughs coming through today, any moments of clarity, any sudden desires to create in a certain direction, this can probably be attributed to the energy that you're picking up on from the 1212 portal. This has been a very intense spiritual activation, and it almost feels sort of like the eye of the storm, in the sense that many of us have gone through some chaos energies recently. That may not be the case for everyone, but I know for some of you listening, there's been some turbulence, some chaotic energy coming up the last week or the last couple weeks. And if that is for you, then I feel there's almost been this clearing out taking place, leading us up to this 1212 portal, where you would be clear enough to then receive this massive spiritual activation. So we're going to be talking more about how the 1212 portal may be affecting you. Of course, I would love to hear from you in the comment section how you've been experiencing the 1212 portal. Have you been feeling this? If so, how has it been showing up for you? So let's go ahead and pull a couple cards to kind of channel into this energy here. Okay, so the first card that I pulled here is the Emperor in the reverse position. So this actually relates to something that I was picking up a bit earlier, where I'm strongly feeling that I'm speaking to a divine feminine here, or a specific collective of divine feminines. So I will most likely be including that in the title of the video somewhere. But what I am getting is that you may have been in a situation where you were attached in some way to a very unhealed masculine energy, whether that was something structure-wise, it could be a job, an environment, a friendship, a family dynamic. But I'm getting for many of you, this was a romantic situation. And I feel very strongly, I'm hearing unrealized potential. I feel as though the person that you were connected to, if it is a person romantically, is someone that you had a really, and do have, I mean, we were talking about quantum connections. You have a very intense spiritual connection to this masculine. I feel for many of you, this may be a twin flame. This could be a high-level soulmate. I'm hearing never-ending dance. It may feel as though you're kind of going back and forth with this person in a never-ending way. And yet, the thing about this situation is there's so much about it that you feel that you can't control. And I'm not just talking externally. I'm talking how you feel as well, how you feel about this person, how you feel about this situation. Because what I'm getting is you're in this place where you can't control the love that you have for someone who is still very closed off in many ways, still very unhealed in many regards. You can't control the love that you feel, and you aren't meant to. What if you could simply just allow that love to exist within you, because it is what it is? There's this element of surrender coming up here, allowing yourself not only to surrender in the sense we tend to mean it when it comes to physical circumstances, but how can you surrender when it comes to your emotional experience? And that in itself feels like a really powerful 12-12 download for someone, that you are meant to be surrendering the need to control how you're feeling. Because what I'm getting is there's a lot of love here, but also the feeling of I can't move forward, or at least I can't move forward right now with you the way that things are, the way that the situation is, because I have to choose what is most self-supportive here. So there is this seeming contradiction where on the one hand, there is all of this love for this other beautiful soul that you are so deeply and quantum connected to, but who in the physical realm has made choices or decisions or chosen pathways where they are still currently in this state of being that to move things forward with them physically seems like it would be a detriment to you, and you seem to be aware of that. You seem to know that at least the way things are now, if you try to move forward with this person, you are going to be left feeling unsupported or unloved, that it's not going to be what is best for you and your thriving. And so I feel you're being called to embrace both sides of that emotional equation, both the love that you feel and both the desire to support yourself, to love yourself, to make the most self-supportive choices for you. And I also feel that this part of the reading is meant to come through with the message that you are engaged with a very unique spiritual connection dynamic that many people are not going to understand, that many people probably haven't understood, because what I'm getting very strongly is the way that this person makes you feel is so different from how you feel and react to other people, because you are someone who actually has very high standards. And I feel it's almost like this is this one masculine who just seems to slip through the cracks. Not literally, but it's almost just like they bypass your usual standards. I'm not sure how else to say it. Like you have this set of rules or standards or things that you won't tolerate, and almost like deal breakers. And I feel as though this person has violated some of those things for you, and yet there's still so much love for them. There's still so much holding of space for them. But that's because what you're experiencing is a very deep and ancient soul connection. Whether it's a high-level soulmate or a twin flame, this does feel very twin flame-esque for some of you. I'm hearing the love can exist, but so can the choice to support yourself. I'm also hearing all you can do is make the next best, most self-supportive decision in the now. You can't see beyond the present moment. You can only make the next best decision now. And here we have the Ace of Pentacles in the upright position, because I feel that while there may be a lot of stagnant energy around this masculine, there are other things in your life. Maybe it's other people or connections if you are exploring the dating world. Maybe this is opportunities, dreams, your work, your goals. I feel like there are areas of your life where energy is moving and these opportunities are being offered to you, but there is this ego questioning because there's a part of the mind thinking that maybe these opportunities are at odds with the opportunity to ever move forward with this masculine who, yes, may still be in this less healed state, but that you still hold so much love for. And I'm just hearing these opportunities are not at odds. If anything, they are actually mutually compatible, because when you choose to positively move forward your life, when you choose to embrace the opportunities coming to you, again, that next most self-supportive decision that you can make for yourself in the moment, maybe this is why I felt guided to talk about quantum entanglement, because as I was about to say, it affects this masculine in a positive way. Again, this is a very mirrored connection because it is a high-level soulmate or a twin flame. If it's a twin flame, it's all the more intense and all the more intensely mirrored. But regardless, when you make those positive choices for yourself, you affect this person through your quantum connection to them in a way that they will, maybe very gradually, maybe very slowly, but all the same, they will begin to reflect back those positive shifts and changes in their own energy field. In essence, this contributes to their healing, even if the two of you are separated at a distance, even if you're not in communication, even if you have no desire to communicate or be with this person. The choices that you make that support you actually support them and support their healing as well, even if they don't necessarily perceive it that way yet on a conscious level. So I feel that may have been the entire reason I felt guided to talk about quantum entanglement and quantum connections. So I really hope that message reached someone in a powerful way. I know this has been a bit of a strange video. We've kind of blended together a few different things, but I'm really excited to share all of this with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if anything connected. I also want to share with you that I've created over 130 powerful subliminals for all different areas of life through my app, Sound and Soulful, which is now available in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. I am so excited about this app because I've been using subliminals for years, and they are my number one tool for manifesting. I saw more powerful, fast results using subliminals years ago than from any other manifestation technique, and I've been using them ever since. Subliminals work by actually bypassing the conscious filter of your mind with affirmations that are targeted to the subconscious mind, and the subconscious actually controls 95% of our thoughts, actions, and outcomes in life. So by reprogramming the subconscious mind, we can shift our energy extremely fast, embody the essence of what we desire to manifest, and magnetize it into our physical reality. So like I said, I have subliminals for so many different areas of life, for love, money, career, business, relationships, mood, mindset, and so many other things. And when you sign up in the app, you get access to every subliminal I've created in 10 different background sound options. You can create your own custom private playlists, and you can read the affirmations while you're listening to the audio tracks. Specifically for those of you tuning in from YouTube, I have a special discount code for you. So you can use the code YouTubeLove for 10% off in the app. That's all caps, YouTube Love. And the link to download the app and get started using subliminals to positively reprogram your mind and manifest in your life is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. Of course, if you resonate with my energy, I would love for you to subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Otherwise, have an amazing remainder of your day. Happy 12/12 portal, and I will connect with you here again in tomorrow's reading.